Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Smart Poker YouTube channel on another episode of Humpdazed, number 132. And as always, Crispy Wannabe's here with me.
Cheers, everybody. Hope you're having a nice ease over the midday week.
And we're going to get the link posted. I got a joint rolled, some Sky Cuddler. There's the link. We'll see if we can get it pinned. My phone's working.
So I wanted to tell everybody that when we chopped down our big Sky Cuddler crossed with Black Widow sent to us by Thunder Dan, I kept the stem, the main stalk of it, because she was a tall girl. Well, we have her in the tent propping up a green track that was like kind of wobbly when we trimmed her down.
You can see it.
And you can see it a little bit in there. The stem is used as a post to hold up our plant. Cheers, Art Man. Cheers, OK Jace. Nice to see you.
Hey guys. What's happening? Looks like you guys are busting at the seams there.
No kidding.
I think we're finally back on track here. Seed person, cheers, buddy.
It looks nice until they say that's a 7-week veg, and then everybody's like, then you realize the ROI on that is not what it should be. But I'm glad that they're not dying.
Let's be one.
It's like the 2 months that we tried to torture them. It never even happened. Like Surf Pro came in and took away all of our mistakes.
Look at the colors on the screen there.
Cheers, Ice and I.
Hey, Ice.
It's a party now.
Would you say it was the water then? Is that what you're thinking, or what?
I still got purple stems in that plant. Now I believe that whatever I don't know yet. Our little plants are doing good. That's why it's labeled knee-high to a grasshopper, because that's what I've told my wife. They look good for being knee-high to a grasshopper. And I was thinking, there it is.
Needed a name, the title.
Yeah, I see Jace got a whole bunch of new seeds over there. Yours is showing on the screen.
Yeah.
Big time. Look at that.
Yeah,
colorful too.
Can you put them on the big screen so I can see in comparison what ours looks like compared to his? Yeah, I think we're a little behind, but you're looking really good, Jace. Like, we're not far behind you.
He's on mute. That's French for quiet. But yeah, he got, I think ours got a little cold that one day. And that's amazing because they do look like about a day behind his or something,
Well, when we dropped our seeds on New Year's Eve with y'all, they were in a little cup of water for about only a half hour. Then I took those seeds and put them right in the paper towels and drenched the paper towel with the water that was in the little cup. So they didn't really soak for a 24-hour period. And that may have cost us some time.
We kind of changed our minds.
The
next day, we was thinking, we're not going to be here when we want to take these out. So let's just take them out now. Paper towel works great,
Yeah, we didn't want them over soaking and getting drowning. So that seemed to work. But it may have cost us a few hours. But
what's up with Jace?
What's the difference between a paper towel and being in a cup of water?
They're
surrounded by moisture. It's this continuous seal of liquid around the seed, right? So I don't see that much of a difference between it.
Only difference I can think is it floats in one and not in the other, but it's still 100% moisture, humidity around the
saturated. And then I put those paper towels in Ziploc bags, and we kept them moist that way, so they were damp. And they all cracked. So
we got a 5 for 5.
5 for 5. The germination
nice.
Rates on those seeds you sent us, seed person or bomb dig.
What was it? It was tropical cooler and something else.
Freya's marmalade.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we're excited.
I see some metal halide going over there, it looks like.
Yep.
He's hanging on to that one. Bed. Worm tanning.
There's Jace.
I just saw a video of Oh no, I had something in the house I had to take care of. I just saw a little video about how the grow light companies are trying to make LEDs that mimic the spectrum of metal halide lights.
Yeah, talk to Spartan. Spartan's got a whole thing with GML, and they're doing that. He knows all the numbers on that shit.
Yeah, GML's got those fancy lights. They got like 60 different spectrums pre-programmed into them.
Fancy.
Oh no, I got my one set it and forget it, plug it in and turn the dimmer spectrum.
Yeah, I don't mind riding in the Honda. I know that the Cadillac is nice, but
Well, that's technology that hasn't been perfected yet, in my opinion. I'm gonna wait on that one.
I'm gonna stay quiet myself and say, hey, you want to go first, Art Man? You want us to skip around?
Not really. I don't really have much. I mean, all I got is one plant in the back there, so you can go ahead.
that's right. The lights are off.
I always forget who's on and who's off, and
we forget about our own lights being on and off sometimes.
Just open the tent up. Oh shit, it's lights out.
Smart and I have done that so many times that we know just to crack the corner and put your finger in the tent, you can see the lights are not on. Zip it that inch. You've only unzipped it an inch.
I don't think I've done that accidentally, but I have been in here working, and then the lights go out, and I'm like, oh shit, it's lights out. I gotta shut these tents up.
a bigger lesson that I learned was if you're running 2 tents, never put them on the same time. And I mean 7 in the morning to 7 at night on one, and 7 in the morning to 7 or like the opposite. Because when one goes off, one's coming on, you'll always get mixed up. At least I always did because I'm stoner. So what I did was I put one at 7 and one at 6:30. That way they were totally different numbers and not like, well, that comes on at 7 a.m. and goes off at 7 p.m. And then you walk in one day and you're just thinking about something, you start unzipping the wrong tent. And I also learned the other lesson is that if the little red light is on my timer, then the lights are on in the tent. If it's off on the timer, which is outside of the tent, then they're in. So that's a second thing that you can do. But yeah, man, it's when you put the 2 tents on the same time frame, even though they're 12 hours apart, it's easy to get mixed up. So it's best to make one like 6:45 and one at like 6:30 or whatever. And it's nice to have that half-hour overlap because you're in there messing around with one tent. As soon as you're done and get it zipped up before the light comes on, boom, the other one's on now. You can open it up and check them and do whatever your daily plant ablutions are.
Is that for electrical? Like you're just trying to not have them run at the same time or what?
Well, I do it. Yeah, I pretty much do it just so.
Well, in the wintertime, it helps with like heat for one tent in the night.
Stability.
Keeps the environment a little stable. In the summertime, you can't. Yeah, you can't do 2 like we tried in the summertime. Even running one is too tough here.
Or like in the winter, if you had them both flowering at night, it would be nice. But during the day, it'd be cold as hell, and you'd have to have a heater on anyhow, or your temps would get lower than you wanted. So what we would do is just run them opposite. Plus, it gives you time to break up the labor too. So if you're like trying to work and do all this other shit, you can hit like morning time on one tent, and in the evening the other tent's on. And you can go in and split it up that way. So I found many reasons why I like running opposite. Plus, it does spread out your power consumption over the course of a day, and you probably pay less at night than you do during peak hours.
Well, yeah, and if you're already like almost maxed out at capacity, it's better to run your lights, separately like that. That way you're not running both at the same time, tripping breakers.
Yeah, you're not tripping breakers either. Yeah, you're not running 2 600-watt lamps at the same time, and it's there's a lot of pros to it. I think. Jace, I had you up on the screen because you got a plethora of the color spectrum in there.
I blame that. I blame that on the can because I've never had. This was 100% germination rate, and of course I'm a newbie. With seeds, I only did 2 runs, and I had a terrible germination rate before then. I was only getting like 50 to 60% germination rate. So that the 2 in the middle right there, those Queen in the South, the blue labels, those were like that's my favorite strain I got those seeds from, and I popped them on or I dropped them on New Year's Eve, and those were the only two seeds that didn't crack open. So I got threw in a couple extra goth girls, and then I think 2 or 3 extra Amy wine cheese. And about that same time I did that, there goes the Queen of the South popping open. So now I've got too many. But so I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got 3 femmes in there, and that's what I plan on running on 1 tent. So that'll be those 3 are spoken for. So that leaves me 10 plants for 1 tent. I don't know if I want to wait that long to flower and have 10 plants in that 1 tent. So I might kind of select the best of the best and try to take maybe, I don't know, 6 plants in that 1
Put them
tent.
all in there on 12-12. Are there regs, right?
Yeah.
You gotta put them all in there on 12-12, and you'll see sex within like 5 nodes and be able to pull the males and probably fill out that whole tent with a bunch of small plants.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. So I'm gonna do it just like I did last time. So I'm just gonna run across. So it's just 1 topping. And then by then I shouldn't be. I mean, the tent will be full, but I won't be overgrown. And then I could start weeding out the males and the weak ones and get it back down to 6 plants. I might flower 1 plant out here in this clone tent I got, because that light up there is good enough to flower out. So I might run at least 1 or 2 solo cups in there, do my little side solo cup challenge in this little clone tent.
Hell yeah.
Follow
fellas, don't you still have a 5x5?
Well, that's in the garage, though. I'd have to bust it out.
Break it out, put it in the living room, or maybe.
Oh, man. My wife has a high tolerance level to all that, but I think that'd be the last straw right there.
Hey, you know what people do in this situation, Jace? This is probably a repeat of what you heard someone else tell you, but you can grow these plants until they're just big enough to grab a small cutting from, and then put that cutting in water and throw it directly under 12-12. And within like 2 weeks, all your cuttings will be labeled, and you'll be able to refer back and just start getting rid of the ones that don't have pistoles coming.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Say, from my experience doing that generally by the time I have roots or sex showing on the clone that's under 12-12, the mom or dad plant that it came from is big enough to show sex on its own, which is I like putting them in the I put them under 12-12 at like 2 or 3 nodes, and then you get sex by like 5 nodes and they don't get very big. Then you can put them back under 24 hours or whatever.
Well, we'll figure something out, because I don't want to flower out 13 plants. My plant count's only 6. So I always try to stay to that. I mean, I might go 1 or 2 plants over this time, but don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I wanted to discuss that a little bit, seed person. So you are pretty much, you're growing those out to 3 nodes, and then you put them under 12-12. They start showing the sex within a few days or whatever you say. Then you can put them back into a re-veg mode, and you're only going to lose a small amount of time because it happens so quickly.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, because I like that idea. That seems really cool, and I would really like to try that.
It's
but my concern. I'm sorry. My concern or question is about the re-veg process.
So what I did, I've only done it with this last set of Goth Girl plants, but I did put them under 12-12 when they were at 3 nodes. And by the time I saw 6 nodes, they didn't have any branching to take clones, but at the very top of the plant, it was showing male pollen sacs on 2 of them, and a female was on the 3rd. And so then I just killed the 2 males, took the female and put it back under the 24-hour little veg area for like 2 weeks, let it get a little bigger. Then I transplanted it and put it back under 12-12, and it's flowering now. And I'm actually doing it again with I got 5 regs that I have under 12-12 right now. So we'll be able to confirm that actually works. I wouldn't recommend anybody do it until, I can recreate that, but yeah.
Yeah, because you would think that the mix up in lighting schedule could possibly be stressful to a plant, and that could cause, if it has a ability to harm, or if it's prone to herm, that could definitely be a trigger. I would think. I never did it. I think it's a cool idea.
I was thinking that if you took a clone off of that plant, you know what I mean? Then it would be less prone as it's had time to veg and get itself figured out. But I don't know.
Well, I know one thing, if those Queen of the South, if they end up being females all the way through, I'd like to preserve those genetics for, another run or two. So I don't know, I'll try something. I don't know if I'll monster crop it or just try to get some cuttings off of it. I don't know. But I'd like to keep running it if I could.
In my opinion, I've always got one. Like when you're running regular seeds and you do it that way, the method of you just throw that plant on 12 and 12, and that's just crappy genetics. It's not going to be an issue. The only thing that happens is you get a little bit of a leggy plant, stretchy plant when you're going back to re-veg it, because it's start to stretch a little bit. That's all. Yep. The plant will take it. You're just adding a week on to find out your sex, before your plants get too big, in my opinion.
And that's well worth it.
You normally see the pre-flowers in about 10 days, and especially if you give a little bit of bloom nutrients as well. You can throw the cutting in a glass with a little bit of bloom nutrients, and sometimes in 2 days that cutting will show a little pre-flower.
That's pretty cool, man. I had never heard of anyone sexing plants like that either, Art, man. And I think it's pretty cool. We got a dozen sex tests, and I've just been holding on to them.
We have a lot of regular seeds too. We would like to try. That's why, this grow that we started with all of you on New Year's Eve is so important to us right now. Everything's going great, but we want to figure out what's happening in each grow because, like Smot said earlier, our plants may look good up on that screen, but they actually don't because they vegged for a very long time. We dropped those seeds in water November 2nd.
And they just
so those, that's terrible, but we've been having some issues. So we've changed some things. We're trying RO water just to see if it's our water. We bought some new nutrients. So
next step is JRP.
We want to go on. Yeah, we want to move on to these regs, and that would be cool. If we didn't have to use all of our sex tests, if we had another method, even just to experiment with.
Yeah. Once we figure this out, it's going to be regs for a long time for us.
Yeah, we're gonna get to do all of our buddies' seeds in.
I'm talking years worth of regs. We probably got I bet we have a decade worth of regular seeds, and that's growing 4 or 5 grows a year, a couple different tents. People,
not to mention the regulars we've already run and really enjoy, and can't wait to try them again.
Or share them with other people to get them out.
So you guys are in flower in that tent now?
Yeah.
Yep.
And one good thing is we looked over every plant with hawk eyes, both of us. We could not find any sign of male parts, any herms, no pollen sacs, no nothing. Under all the stress that we put those plants through, because they really went through the ringer with our problems, and no signs of.
That's 10 plants and 16 square feet, or about 1.5 square foot per plant. Topped them right at the flip, and the same day we topped them and flipped them the same day. Not by design, it's because I figured what the hell. And some of those seeds seed person made. Platinum Valley crossed with
Green Crack.
Yeah, we got Green
and
Crack.
And then we got the Green Crack. And then we have Tangy Punch that Growroom 420 sent us.
Oh, they're definitely root bound, but they're in flower, so I mean it is what it is. That's the whole point of a SOG, is to have a small plant, many of them. So we've been playing around with it in a couple of different tents, but our plants around 2 weeks always end up with some kind of weird shit going on, and we've been experiencing it for a little while, and we're gonna figure that out before we move forward. But I think we're gonna I think when we get the regulars out, we're gonna fill that little tent up with just clones that we like. We'll take the cuttings, flower the plant. If it's shitty, we'll just throw the cutting away, you know. But we'll keep them that way. We'll always have them instead of re-vegging them. I'd rather just throw them away, you know.
That's what I'm doing. Is I take cuts off everything that I flower, and then I decide afterwards.
That's
Well, we did that too this time. We took a cut just for shits and giggles, just for like, hey, what if, you know, let's try it out. What could it hurt? And it actually worked. So
it was also an experiment in water purity or whatever. We used tap water. I'm thinking if I can drop my plant in there and get roots to come out, and
how bad can our water
I tend to think that it might not be the problem with water quality. It's never been a problem before, but it's always, I have to have it in the equation now. But that's only 345 watts in a 4x4. People always say that's underlit, but it's not. It's a Flume Fighter 2X built specifically for vertical integration, so people can grow like one, or you know, tray on tray on tray all the way up a big warehouse wall. That was the first LED we ever bought, and I think it was 2018 or 2019, and we haven't used it in probably 4 years, so we decided to bust it out. It's really nice for summertime. And I think people are always surprised of how well it does for such a low power consumption. I know I was.
Well, if you got it down low in the canopy like that, you know, you can get away with less watts on it.
Yeah, it gets good distribution. They have I forget, it was like it's been so many years, 3 or 4 diodes per watt. So points of emission are spread out, gives it longevity, keeps it nice and cool. It doesn't dim or anything, man. It's just wide open. It's full bore.
Oh, wow. No dimming capability at all? Not even like an external controller or anything? It's just power on and that's it?
I could buy one, but it doesn't come with it. And I never found a need for one. Hell, I used to put my little seedlings under a 216 watt 4 bulb T5 high output. And now I realize how inefficient that was. But I loved the way my plants always looked under compact fluorescent. They make such a beautiful, pretty green. You get them as close as you can, and they just thrive under those. I love those. I would someday maybe want to go back to those.
We had fun memories with those lights too. Our cat in particular loved that light. She always loved to be underneath with the plants.
I remember one day waking up, and I went upstairs and was looking at our plants, and I started flipping out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? We had like a line of seedlings about a dozen long, and every one of them, they had maybe 2-3 nodes, and every one of them had water droplets at the tips of the leaves everywhere. And that was the day I learned what guttation is, and I realized that it was the water pressure and the colder temps there in the evening in that one room. And I thought something was crazy. I was like, this is so fucking cool. And that's some of the shit that drug us into wanting to learn more, was seeing things like guttation happen, or like we were talking about earlier, Jace, damp off and fusarium. I learned what that was the hard way, you know?
Yeah, I thought about buying those T5s. Well, they have it was from Mars. They have a LED equivalent to the T5 now, but I wanted something more powerful in case I wanted to flower in this tent, because those T5s, they only go up to maybe like 150 ppfd, you know, ish. So they're great for veg, but that's it.
Yeah.
But the spectrum's geared more towards veg too.
Look at us and I. I'm sorry, I missed that, Jace. What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying those T5s. I mean, the spectrum's geared more for veg, you know, which is what I want, but it's a trade-off.
Oh yeah.
You know?
You know, we used to run in ours with a 4 bulb. We'd run 1,6500 Kelvin and 4 3,200 Kelvin. So we'd have, or I'm sorry, 3. So we'd have 3 reds and 1 blue. And it just, I don't know why somebody told us on a forum a long time ago to run it like that, and we did, and it worked great. I don't know if it helped or not. Or maybe it was 1 red and 3
It
blues.
was 1 red,
That's what
3
it was.
blue.
1 red and 3 blues, and
Yeah.
it worked so great. I guess the red helped a little bit, but didn't really stretch them, and I did it, and I always liked it. Never switched back. I wish I wouldn't have got rid of those lights, man. But it's tough when
Looks
you're
like
moving to be dragging. We were dragging big hoods around like Asenai has.
Looks like his inspection finally passed. He's ready to roll now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I am.
I put him on right when he catches a cough.
That-
Oh, you've been sick too, man. You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm actually still got a little bit cough, but it's clear, and it's gone from dirty phlegm to not much anymore. Anyway,
Right.
enough of that disgustingness. Back to red light. Yeah, when I used to run the bulbs, I used to have the 64Ks, but I used to have a couple of 2700s in there with it. And the theory was that the red light enables a bit of root development. It's not for the vegetative growth or anything. It makes the roots perform a little bit better.
Right on.
So yeah, that's where the red side comes into. You don't want them completely blue, although your plants will look nice and lush on top. Underneath the soil, they might not be as developed as they can be. Anyway,
Makes sense to me. Ooh.
that's
Looks
what
like you
I've,
got some competition, Jace.
Oh damn, I always got a one up me, man. That's a nice dome you got there. That's deep. You got some deep roots going.
Yeah, yes, them.
Holy shit.
Oh, those are cool.
That is deep.
Yeah.
These are. Oh, I'm gonna fucking drop this in a minute, ain't I?
Don't do that like the seeds you did that one day. We had to watch a whole grow. We didn't know what any of the plants were.
Yeah, so basically you've got a seam down the middle, all the way down, and you can unclip them. And as you can see, these are solid, 10-year guarantee. And they're made from the same people, Smart, as them trays that you brought.
Yeah, those trays rock, man. I want to get one of those. I love that. Is those slotted? Is that some sort of bottom feeder system or something? Like could you put clones in there and shit? You could put clones in cocoa and just fill that thing up with water and
yeah,
man.
They've also got these what they call they've got channels down on the inside. So when the roots hit the side, that encourages them to go straight down.
Nice. No rounding around.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll give it a go. And this was up there, for 28 cells with the dome, the case, and everything, complete kit. That was around about $20.
Oh, nice.
That's a good price.
Yeah, you know what? Pretty much what I'm putting here is I'll go through what I've calculated. Yeah, I've got 4 deep candy, 4 super lemon haze. No, sorry, 4 sour greenhouse cheese sour banana, 4 super lemon haze pink candy, 2 super lemon haze cross GMO.
Nice.
2 Exodus cheese cross Jack Herrera cross NL5. 4 super lemon haze cross RS11. 4 Franco's lemon cheese. And that one's didn't get done. And 2 grape hoolies of the F2s that are done. And 2 blood diamonds cross the grape hoolie.
Nice.
So in all, 28.
Hey,
that's a nice round number.
I got a question. This is off the topic. You got me thinking about. See, it's not off topic. It's a little different. This Chief and Heavy. I like that name. Well, it's a cool logo there too. Hey, I was watching they ain't called the Washington Redskins anymore. This shows you how far removed I've been from football. But anyhow, I popped the seeds I won on here a few weeks back. Panama Red crossed with Runts. Who seeds are those? Was that you, Ice and I?
No. Is that
You
Gilbert?
person? Art man?
Is that Gilbert? Because
I don't know.
Gilbert was
On
in
this show?
Panama, right?
I think he must be mistaken on the show or something.
Panama
I
Red
don't
crossed
know,
with
dude.
Runts.
That doesn't
I don't
sound like
remember that.
anybody that
Yeah.
gives away
Not
seeds
on our-
here for strangers.
Not on our
anyways.
show.
Yeah,
No.
I know. I think it was Gilbert UK might have been doing something with the Panama Reds, maybe with the Pamela Anderson. I'm not sure. I might be wrong.
Hey, that happens.
Yeah.
People win stuff and then they're like, "Oh, I must have been a different show." I think
Yeah.
I've done that myself.
Oh, yeah. No harm, no
Hey,
problem.
Ice and I,
Glad he
Ice and
won.
Brian was asking what the name of that dome was. You got the name of the manufacturer.
Garland. They're
Garland?
called Garland. Deep. I'll go and get the box for it. The branding.
Hey, Brian, 420. I was hoping you'd show up because I think I have a question that maybe you're able to help me with. We don't even have to get into it on the show, but it's about Jack's 3-2-1 nutrients.
You gonna
I don't
switch
like
nutrients this time?
They
I
didn't give
just
me a
don't
free
understand
sample.
that.
So
What's that?
I said I don't like them because they never gave me. I asked them if they would send me a sample to try out, and they were like, "No, sorry." And I was like, "Okay."
They told me the same
I'm not
thing.
gonna buy
Yeah.
it.
I told Megacrop gives free samples.
I'm not going to use them because they don't give out free stuff. Okay. Well,
I'm
your
going
choice.
back with
They don't
the
realize-
Athena.
Okay, you're going back with the thing. Hold on a second here. I got all screwed up. I got multiple showings going down. All right, hold on, Jace. We're going to go down Ice and I's house first.
Yeah, he's got the name of the company and the
Garland, just like
Papers.
Judy. Think of Gone with the Wind or
Yeah.
something like that.
Deep root success kit. It's back to front, but you get what it is.
I really dig those, especially for 20
I like
bones.
that they called it a deep root success kit.
Yes,
That's smart marketing.
very smart marketing.
I'll tell you what there.
Yeah,
I like
look at
that. That is really cool.
It reminds
Make
me of
it
those
so easy for
sapling
trans-
starters
Yep.
for trees.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's what we're talking about.
Nice.
Is that a UK company?
Yeah, I think
company?
that's a worldwide because you got them trays, didn't you, Smart?
Yeah, we got the
These
we got the
trays,
tray just like that black one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an Amazon company, or they're available on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
It's 24
Okay.
by 24 inches. It's a nice tray. It's deep too. It's got like 4-inch sides on it or something. 3-inch sides.
Sturdy.
yeah, like these were like $10 or whatever it was each.
Yep.
Whereas you go to the hydro store, you're looking at 30 quid or $30 or something like that. I know I don't really like Amazon, but sometimes you can't beat it. Delivered to
Well-
your door at a cheap price.
Kind of like Temu.
I don't know. We've had my wife and my daughter and that they love that cheap tat. And that is what it is. Come on now. Most of that stuff from Temu don't last most of the
I know. I never buy it. It's too cheap to be good.
Yeah.
I like to touch my stuff when I buy it. Like I want to squeeze my socks between my fingers before I buy them.
Yep.
Go to the store, hold them in my hand. I hate buying clothes and shit like that. I don't
We
mind.
lost Dice and I. He must have hit the wrong button. But
That
what
wasn't us.
you got Athena roots up there or Athena newts?
Yeah, that's what I'm running next. I already had the, so I used to run Athena, and then I ran out of bloom nutrients. So I still had everything that's up there besides the bloom A and bloom B. And then I switched to general hydroponics the last 2 grows. And I'm getting to the point where I need to buy some more CalMag and Diamond Nectar. I might have enough for one more run. So I went ahead and just bought the bloom newts for Athena so I can finish running those because I had all that other stuff. I don't want to go bad, especially that stack. That stack's freaking expensive. It's like $70 for that little bottle.
Damn.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty cheap though. It's like $30 a gallon. So
Like, how long
that's
will
a good
that
thing.
last?
Oh, forever. Like, cause you don't use much. You only use, I think it's 7 milliliters per gallon, and I don't even use a gallon. And you spray it twice a week while the plants are growing vertically. So pretty much early veg through the finish of the bulb. It's a kelp extract.
So that's not so bad if you're not like rolling through it all the time.
Oh no, that probably lasts me a dozen grows. I mean, I barely put a dent in this bottle, and I used it for 1 or 2 grows, I think.
Chief and Heavy says that Artman threw him off whenever he turned on. He saw him sitting here, but he also saw him on Let's Be Buds where he actually won those seeds. So this is a good chance for us to sell everybody, make sure everybody goes and checks out some of the other shows like Caribou Heart, Uncle Rick and Let's Be Buds, Jack Greenstock's Cheap Home Grow. And I don't want to miss any, but there's quite a few shows. We try to post the links here, and we like to live by the motto that a rising tide raises all ships. So we think someone's putting out good content. We like to support them and spread the word. Our friend Artman here has his show he's been doing, and it's not really scheduled. And hopefully I represent it correctly when I say he does it when he feels like it. And if you get subscribed to him and put on the notifications, you might just be kicking smoking a joint, and all of a sudden Art comes on. That's what happened to me the other day. So.
Yeah, I've had quite a few people join me, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate it.
He does it when he feels like it, just like all things that he does in life.
That's true.
My wife's phone went dead. She was on like 3% right a little bit ago, so she had to plug it in. And,
yeah, so I can't post anybody's links.
But we need someone, if they can, or if they feel like it, to post Caribou's link or Uncle Rick's.
Yeah, feel free to share those links.
Or Jack or Eagle or Spartan or Future Cannabis Project. There's some other good ones out there. Used to be other good ones that aren't around. It's always nice to see a show come and stay. Not get caught up in simple minded shit, you know? Stay pretty focused.
For shouting out shows, I got to say Black Hoodie Alchemy. We got a cool episode out about winter and the alchemy.
Yeah, Seed Person has a link for that too.
But also, I can't post anything. I can see chat, but I can't post anything, so I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Now's the time to get your digs in.
My phone's probably charged, but I'm gonna give it the full Monty.
I already said he's just ignoring you. He's just a man.
All right, hey Brian, that's a good. I'm sorry. I'm like feel behind here.
It's okay. Sometimes life can get a hold of you that way. Just chill.
I get try to read chat. Kitty's digging through a box behind me. It sounds like a damn deer coming through the woods.
Can you guys hear that? She's making such a ruckus. She just won't stop.
I think I can hear a little something.
That's Kitty in a box.
Let's wait until the show is on to cause mischief.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was me. I can't hear anything.
There's some links in the chat. If you're not already subscribed, check them out. The mega crop. I know you use Artman. I know you use Jax. I know there's a few of my friends that use Jax. My friend Rusty over at Cocoa for Cannabis, been an invaluable resource for knowledge for many years, and so shout out to Rusty. and cocoa for cannabis, and Berkshire, a few other people are, but I'm curious. They have like 3 different kinds, man. It makes me feel stupid. It does. I go on their website and I'm looking, and it says like the ones for tap. And so here's what I noticed. One says Part A, right? And it says let me think. It says like 5, 13, 20. Now those aren't the correct numbers, but it has your NPK there. And it says Part A, and then it says feed on the side of it, FEED, feed. And I'm like, okay, so there's your Part A, your veg or whatever. And then it says add that to calcium nitrate. The 1500 is the NPK on that. But I think if you're running the tap water version of that, you don't add the extra nitrate. And I'm not sure. And all I want to know is the 2 parts that I need to buy for running it with my tap water, if I should go that route. And I just want to have it ready and understand, do I need to put the Epsom in? And with the part that's 1500, it comes with a lot of calcium. Does that mean I don't have to supplement any other calcium in a cocoa grow when I'm using Jacks?
Mixing it, you will start with the A. You can put the Epsom salt in with that because it's got Epsom salt in it. Then you mix the calcium separate. I do it, and I put it in separate. But I don't know about your other questions though.
I asked Rusty, and he replied back that he gave me a great answer, but I don't know how to kind of decipher it. He said Jack's 321 is the Part A, and you'll add calcium nitrate to that and Epsom salt. He goes, but they also sell a RO version that you can use if your tap water's below 300, which mine's right real close to that. And so then that quite made me question, which version should I get? I'm kind of on the line.
Right on the line.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because we usually run right around a 300, man.
Yeah,
maybe slightly under.
I tested it just not all that long ago at 297.
I was gonna say 290, and sometimes I think when like we buffer cocoa and stuff, when it gets down to about 300, I know I'm at my tap water usually there, and it's pretty stable at that. So which one should I get? And I feel, and I guess the same goes with Mega Crop. They switched it. When I used to use Mega Crop, they only had 1 Part A, and it stunk real bad. It was brown, and it would get real clumpy if it got moist, like yucca. Oh, it smelled like straight decomposed fish ass, man. And it was bad stuff. I heard they changed it into 2. The Part A is now 2 parts, and then they have a Part B or something too. So I just kind of want some guidance. I'm not very good with chemistry and shit. So
Let me ask you a question. Do you think you'll ever go with RO water? Because when you buy it, like I bought the 25-pound bags, you're going to have that for a long time, several years probably.
Yeah.
I'm on my 3rd year with just buying it once. So make sure if you're going to go with RO eventually, you might, if you're right on the border or on the edge.
I was going to score a 2-pound sack just to try it out,
Oh, okay, cool. Well, then you're good.
I like that. That's the one thing I do like is it's price difference from the general hydroponics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's.
Hey, I want to ask
cheap,
Brian a question.
Cheapest.
Brian says I didn't use any other amendments to the 321 complete. So correct. So you're telling me you just bought 1 bag of Jack's 321, and it had the NPK of whatever. It was that Part A. And that's all you use the entire grow. That's your micro, your macros, your everything.
Yep.
That's what you do, Art Man?
Yes, sir. That's all I have.
Simplicity. 321 is a 3-part.
I just feel
he says
321 is a 3-part. Okay.
It's like 7 cents a gallon or something. It is really, really cheap. I mean, you can afford this stuff. If you're using bottles now, for some people, bottles are very convenient. They don't want to weigh out the roots and everything. That's fine. I don't have nothing against that. But if you want to save money, geez, I spent like $200 and it lasted me, I think I'm on my third year. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Love
Oh
it.
God. And I have a 55-gallon reservoir, so I do make a lot.
To
Yeah,
think that I'm not a moron, but I feel stupid. I don't know how to order jacks. I don't know what to buy. There's like 3 different kinds of part A. And then there's the calcium nitrate. Then there's the Epsom. If you use one kind, you don't need this. If you use this kind, you do got to use all 3. Da, da, da. And honestly, I don't understand it. It pisses me off, and I feel like an idiot.
well, if you're going with just the pound or whatever the small bag is, go with you could go with, say, tap water. If you're right at 300, go with the tap water one. I mean, it's
So
not
then
going
I
to break
don't
your
add
bank
calcium
to
nitrate.
do that. It's a 3-2-1, but it's for tap water. You know, they have one for RO, they have one for tap. What was the third one? You said there was a third one for something or else. Well water, maybe? I don't know what it was. But yeah, just get the smaller pack and try it out.
You're muted, Addison. You're still
I
muted.
was just, I didn't really say anything. I was just saying, you probably got one for hydro, one for soil, and one for cocoa, probably.
Yeah. They have one cloning bag.
I don't think they have one split for medium. I don't think that's how they do it. But they do have I do use their cloning mix, the seedling mix too, on my clone seedling. So
Speaking of links and that, go and subscribe to my channel, everybody. I've got a load of new content on there. I even got some discussions about calcium and the misconception of it's not the misconception in the community that you can get away with using as much calcium as you like. Well, you know, that's a lie, because calcium will bind up to your potassium or phosphorus or other sort of nutrients and lock them away and mess up your pH balance and everything, and steal your your electron points. But yeah, but there's some good information on there. If you want to learn, subscribe. I don't normally plug myself, but I'm going to. Fuck it.
No, go for it, man.
Yeah,
That's
put
what
your
it's
link
about.
in there. Tell people that, this is what it's all about, is sharing each other's
just
information,
channel,
lifting each other up.
I like
anyone
that.
can just anyone, or just I see anyone. If you I search I see anyone, you'll find the stuff. But you'll find a lot of cannabis related stuff and a lot of health related stuff, and some weird conspiracy stuff. But that's pretty much it. But I'll put about 50 videos up in the last couple of weeks. Sort of some pretty sort of interesting stuff. Carry on.
No, you're good.
Yeah, calcium.
I'm reading
Sorry,
the
Scott.
chat.
I did.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat. It's funny.
I did do a thing about calcium, and one of the symptoms of calcium, and I was questioning this, and I'm sort of like, I'm listening to you describing your issues and stuff, and the way you go about growing and everything else, and you buffer your cocoa first. Just a question: do you know what's in your calcium? How much calcium is left in your cocoa after you finish buffering it? Yeah, because calcium is one of these things that can cause purple stems, red stems.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the only indicator I have is the flush that I give it after the buffer. I flush it all down until the EC is equivalent to my tap water coming out the bottom of these 2-gallon pots. So once we satiate the cation exchange in the cocoa, I feel like we rinse it all out and start fresh. Pretty inert. So, but that's a good train of thought for sure. And
yeah, I always thought that is a very important step. Otherwise, your electric conductivity is through the roof with all the calcium that's built up in there. You've got to rinse that down, or you're going to fry a seedling.
If you've got an excess of calcium in there, as soon as you put your nutrients in there, they're gonna start binding up to it, and they're not going to be available to the plant. And especially if you're growing in an inert media where you ain't got the microbes that break that bond, that your stuff's going to be inaccessible, which then makes your plants look that will be nutrient deficient. And what you get from nutrient deficiencies, all sorts of weird symptoms like red stems and and all the sort of
Exactly.
weird problems you can't get your head around.
Yeah.
It's just a chain of thought.
No, I feel like something has been definitely disrupting the nutrient element ratio that needs to be there for conducive, good, vigorous growth. And the thing is trying to figure out which of the ones it is, and or is it my water quality, you know? So we're trying to like narrow it down through a couple different channels, but this is good. This is good because this is the same train of thought that I've been on lately, trying to figure out what it the fuck is
Calcium
up,
and phosphorus seem to be the ones that are indicated for the red stems. Whether it's they say magnesium sometimes, but because sometimes it could be that it's the actual calcium, but the magnesium helps with the calcium more absorbable, or
Yeah.
all these sort of like swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
I never ever got red stems until I switched to LEDs. I never had red stems under HPS. I don't know why, but that's when they started for me. And I ran jacks the whole time I was under HPS and LEDs. So that was the only difference really, is the light.
That's like if you can remember, Greenhouse Company asked me to test that salt line for them, didn't they? And they said that was specially designed for LEDs, and I would imagine that the LEDs create a different or the plants are having to do some extra work to cope with the intensity of the light or the spectrum that's being put upon them. So they're having the nutrient profile that's getting used to deal with that is a little bit different, and I think that's what it is. It is a nutrient deficiency.
Well, then again, I've never had a bad harvest. I never noticed any. As a matter of fact, my harvests have gotten better since I switched with LEDs. But I've never noticed a deficiency, or a caveman says root rot will cause red stems. I don't have root rot ever, not in that system. But I don't know why they're red. But I don't notice any difference as far as the buds go, quality wise.
A lot of it is
Yeah.
photoprotectiveness. It's like sunscreen. The anthocyanins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see a difference in the quality or anything though, so it doesn't matter to me.
The way you can tell, is if the side of the underside of the leaf, if that's still green, or the underside of the stalk, but the upside is red, you know that's the light.
Yeah.
Because or
every time you pluck a bud off,
stays green, but the side that's facing the light is red. You know that's the light that's doing it. But essentially, what I think you find it is the plant just can't cope with that intensity. There's not enough, whatever it is, that's saying I need to put that sunscreen out there.
We have a short video on this channel where I take a big long stem and harvest a bunch of big buds off of it. Everywhere there was a bud, it was green. And as I go up the bud, I'm turning it, and you can see that one whole side, like Austin and I was saying, the side it was facing down is all green, but the other side is purple with big green spots where every bud was. And I'm like, everything was exposed.
You can definitely see that is done from the light.
Oh, it was wild. And I noticed it, and this, you might think it's all in my head, but I think there's a different color to that purple, that deep violet looking purple that you get there than the when your plant's feeling sour,
Something I read on the forums way back when I was first getting into growing was that somebody was saying, just like you have to feed a little bit of CalMag to the cocoa if you're growing in cocoa, if you grow with LEDs, you have to feed a little bit of CalMag to the LEDs as well. And that just always stuck with me, and I use that. I always add a little extra CalMag because whatever they said, on the GH3 part I use, I always add a little extra CalMag, and I've never had any problems. And I do get that streaky stem, but when I bump up the CalMag, it goes away in the new growth, which is something that Brandon Rust said as well, that he was able to reverse the red stem by bumping up his magnesium.
I remember that him talking about that on the Cheap Home Grow show.
Hey, he's been doing that since knee high to a grasshopper. That's something I used to hear when I was a kid. That's one of the things we talked about earlier. But do you have sayings that you grew up with? Because my mom used to tell me, "You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground." That was one of her sayings, man. And I know like families always have these weird sayings. Or she would refer to someone who was a moron, and she would say, "That person's not wrapped too tight," meaning they're freaking loose. Like, I don't know, but you know how like these old people in your family have crazy sayings you grew up with here. And here's another good one. And this one here was wild. She used to tell me, "Wish in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up first."
Well, I heard that one at my house too.
You know, so I'm just curious if anybody has any good sayings that they were pounded into their heads. I thought that was some good.
The best one I know of is it's don't get caught with your pickle in the slicer.
Oh, that's a good one.
When I used to have long hair in a tied up at the back there, my mother-in-law said to me one day, she said, "Underneath every ponytail there's an arsehole."
Oh boy, that was rough. I bet you laughed at that one. You can't help it. That's great.
That's a good buddy. There used to be some others, and it's weird because you'll think about them at the most random times. I bet this week there's somebody's listening right now is going to think of a few sayings that they grew up with around the house.
Yeah, I got one, but
Do you know what?
Everybody's thinking like, "Oh, I can't say that. That's a family."
Funny moment.
Yeah.
Funny
my
thing,
dad,
like,
yeah, can't do it.
when my kids were growing up, they used to say stuff that wasn't correct, but we used to think it was funny, and they didn't really correct them on it, right? So, you know, the saying is, "I can't be asked." Yeah, I can't be asked.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but my kid, or my eldest, she always used to say, "I can't be asked to do." You know, like you can't ask me to do it, instead of "I can't be asked." Right? So people would say, she'd say to someone, "I can't be asked," and they'd look at her like, "What do you mean?"
That's good stuff, man.
It's just some other crazy stuff we used to mess with our kids. That's fun.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. It makes me, I miss, the family, the ones that aren't around anymore. That I used to think they were old and weird. Now I see the charm that they had, and I don't get to talk to them now. That's how it goes. That's every generation.
all the country talk they had, like over yonder by the creek or cattywampus.
Yeah, but like my grandma used to call brown paper bags a poke. She would tell me to go get her a poke, and I don't know why, And then they called it a pig in a poke whenever they would make cabbage rolls. They would call them pig in a poke, and I guess the saying come from when you used to go to market. The pigs would run around faster than people could grab them, so they would put them in a sack. And so that's kind of, I guess, somehow where the saying come from. You would go down to the market and buy a pig that was in a bag, a little pig.
That reminds me of the National Lampoon's European Vacation movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were contestants, and I think the show was called Pig and a Poke.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, though.
I had this one in our house, too.
Oh, we were snorting.
I got one. Is if you hold your breath, maybe you can use both your brain cells.
Oh, that's a good one. I used to hear the hat rack all the time.
Keep pulling that face, it'll stay like it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey, Seed Person, it's after 8. Did we get a chance to see the Seed Dungeon?
Not Not tonight. My wife is down
Okay.
there right now. Sorry, guys.
Okay. That's all right. Look at me putting you on the spot and shit. What a great host, huh? Let me
Nah,
put
there's
you on
nothing
Front
new
Street.
though. I don't have anything new. My New Year's plant looks pretty much like Jace's and y'all's, so
You should
everything
be
else is
saying
just
things like that. Yeah, I mean, we're all subscribed to the Seed Spouse now, so we might be messaging you like, come on.
Yes.
go pester her while she's down there.
Did she kick you out of the grow, or is she madder than the wet hen right now?
No,
While we're
but,
talking about country things.
Oh my.
I like to respect her her time because she doesn't have much time after work, so let her chill.
Yeah.
So
Right on.
Yes, my wife's watching this.
That makes you an awesome husband.
well, thank you.
Don't piss in the wind. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah,
Don't go eating the yellow snow. Frank Zappa taught me that one.
Don't look the gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah. I didn't know what that meant until I was older. And I guess the saying comes from you tell the age of a horse by looking at its teeth. So when someone gives you a horse, you don't immediately start looking at its teeth to see if it's a young horse or an old horse. You accept the gift for what it is, whether it be young or old horse. And so I'm thinking that one harkens back to probably when, Art Man was young. Oh,
Hey, that might,
Wish I
the
had
saying
that
of
symbol.
like being mom.
hey, she's right here. She could smack me.
Oh, right. $5 each time. That's right. I forgot about that.
Here, let me mark that down.
Here's a 20.
He's keeping records.
And I'm sure everyone's mother.
Here's a 50.
I'm sure everyone's mother at some point has told them there's plenty more fish in the sea.
Oh yeah.
There's also a lot of trash in the sea.
There is a lot of trash.
This too shall pass.
Oh my.
But at the time, you don't want to be hearing that shit. Am I right? Like, no one wants to be hearing that there's more fish in the sea when they're going through that shit. It's not helpful.
They want to hear. Here's a jar of buds. Here's some
Drink
medibles.
this whiskey. It will help you.
Here's some medibles from Seed Person. That's what they want to hear.
Good medicine, my friend. Great medicine.
F that person. That person's so horrible and mean. They don't
deserve
you. You can do so much better.
I could see our buddy Seed Person busting into Seed Spouse's private time, like, "Hey, all the gang's here now that everybody said hi." And she'll be thinking, "What the hell did I get myself into?" Wow, man.
Yeah, we might add her to our group chat and Instagram.
Yeah. You've been blocked on Instagram, Smart. I got a message. I think I'm still like 198 days away from being able to go live or do anything. And I don't even know what I did wrong.
They got me on another meme today that I posted like 2 weeks ago. And it was the video of what they said was Diddy riding a motorcycle in prison. But apparently it was some YouTuber that was doing it for some, I don't know. And then they were like, we put a blur and a label on this. It's not true. I'm like, why? It's a fucking sex trafficker in prison and it's a meme. Like, what are you guys doing?
Unbelievable.
I don't get it. Is that like an AI making that decision or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Then I appealed it and then it was like, nope, we didn't take the thing off. Fuck you. And then I read the fine print and it said, if you delete it, then you can't dispute it. So I'm like, okay, so I'm in trouble for a meme and I can't dispute it because they already said, no, we're not going to do that. And if I delete it, there's no reason. What's the incentive for me to delete it? I should just post more shit.
I think it's a USA thing as well, to be honest with you, because I post some really dodgy content and the only time I ever have anything removed if it's Sony's. Straight
they
up.
Can eat shit. I don't care about Instagram.
If it's Sony Warner or whatever. Yeah. And then sometimes they're like, just people in Azerbaijan can't watch your stuff. And I'm like, oh, so you know.
I get that with Russia. They're like, people in Russia can't see your post. I'm like, oh no.
Oh my God.
Really?
What am I
Oh,
going to do? I have to boycott.
Hey, there's the American
even-
one.
Cheers, Tal.
What's
Tal's
up,
got some
everybody?
plants going. What's up, Tal?
Wow.
I
Right.
figure since Seed Person can't show his wares, I'll show his autos. But give me a second. And yeah, I wish I had a better spot. I wish they were more happy, but they're coming along, man. They're sucking up the water, and I am amazed because they're in the 1 gallon containers. I never added liquid nutrients. I put some top dress earthworm castings on it, and they're still all green through and through, and they shot up like they're like the size that's 6 feet tall. I'm amazed.
Nice.
That's the power of natural earth. Hey, I was thinking of you today, man. I was doing a crossword puzzle and it said Chinese philosophy, 3 letters. Tao was the answer. Tao. I didn't really know it. I had to fill it in doing the other direction. But when I read it, I told my old lady, look what I just got for that thing. I keep getting these calls from AI, man. This fucking AI is driving me nuts. If you try to run a business and your phone number's like on the Google and the interweb and all these different places, and they call you incessantly. And now they have people talk. It sounds like you're talking to a real person. They ask me about all kind of shit, man. And it's amazing. I bet 15 calls a day I have to filter through. I almost hung up on a client today. And I told him, I said, I've had calls in the road, these bot calls. I don't know how to do it because we're just a small, stupid little company. We don't have anything to combat that. And it's crazy. So I was taking a break, turned my phone off, and did a crossword puzzle. And it was mental health for a minute.
It's better than.
And then after he's like, oh, speaking of Tal, let's roll one up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Let's take a walk through the clouds.
There's got to be some sort of phrase that you can use. I saw somebody do it with an AI at like a Wendy's, and they were like, I want 6 million plastic cups, and the AI like freaked out and they got a real person. So I'm sure there's something that you can just fire off when you answer it that'll like either freak it out or just be like a weird comment to a normal person.
I'll try that. Good thinking.
Google.
I just get annoyed and hang up or whatever, you know. Boy, it is a jungle in there.
It's looking mighty fine in there.
I don't know about mighty fine, but it's fine enough. They're chugging, man. And yeah,
That's about a year's worth of cookies right there, buddy.
That's finer than frog
I'm
hair.
so amazed,
right.
dude.
Wow.
They're in those
That's a lot of
little
them, man.
1 gallon containers. And yeah, I
Dang.
did what I could to get them to not burn them, but I took off some burnt leaves but yeah, they're chugging.
I'm
Man,
impressed.
that's dense. You have a machete? You get in the corner? Or?
That thing's chunking. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, Tal, remember back when you was doing the pot up on these out of the little seedling cartridges and they were all falling apart? You're like, these might stun a little bit. I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, I guess we got our answer.
Yeah.
it went great.
I wish
That
I had
was
the ones that
tough.
Iceni was showing. They split apart, so it's real easy, right? Iceni?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I wish I had those at that point. But yeah, you can
Yeah,
still
the
see
ones
like
that split two for $20, Tal. Tell me that's not
Right.
worth it. That's a lot of sales for $20.
you can see some of these poor girls though that aren't in the light. They're like you can see that.
They're a little bit wispier. They're not quite as
Right.
pronounced as far as the floral morphology, if you will.
They're all hurting a little bit. They all could be better. But yeah, like this
But
one,
damn.
of course.
1 gallon pots, no exhaust, no hygrometer. The lights in the middle of the room can't be raised anymore. The door's open. You
They're
know,
frosty.
they've been had a lot
Yeah,
of
look at that!
fluctuations.
Look at that one right there! Look at that shit!
Yeah,
That's crazy frost, man. Nice.
So
seed person did good with those seeds, did he not?
yeah,
Awesome.
dude, my arm smells right now. It smells good. I don't know how to describe it though, but yeah.
It smells like. Does it smell like
Or-
perfume?
A
Does
little
that
bit.
lilac diesel smell like perfume?
Yep, a little bit perfumey. Then I got these girls here. Well, hopefully. Oh yeah, these are girls.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're. They didn't come up yet though. Not yet.
Nothing. How long have those been down? Since New Year's?
No, it was like
No.
a few days after. I forget exactly. But you know
can't
what?
remember. Oh, that was
the heating-
Wednesday
I just put the heating pad under them, so
or Sunday.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, that was Sunday because he did it on the show, didn't he? Because you were asking him about that.
Yeah, you were asking about the paper towel and stuff.
Yeah, so that was Sunday. He had just done it.
yeah, it was the night before. Yep.
Give him a day or two, man. They'll be up. Right?
I would imagine.
You got the
Yeah,
heat
now I
mat
got-
under them.
I got the heating pad underneath them now. I wasn't sure if it was working though. I'll check it right now with the thermometer.
Failing that, just put them on top of your fridge or something like that, on the back where the heat goes up the back of your fridge. And,
Yeah, I
Fine.
think this heating pad ain't working no more.
Let's get the bed on you.
They're reading 66 in the inside.
yeah, you want my
That's
bit.
not
That's
good.
cold.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah.
cold. And I have it on.
They'll slow it
70.
down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out something.
I
'Cause,
put
yeah,
mine
you
in
know,
my
let me show
laundry
you.
cupboard where the
Yeah.
hot water tank is.
Yeah, one thing Smart always tells me is you can always get them to come back if they've been in a cold state because it just slows them down. But once you've fried them, that's it. That's a wrap. And I've learned that the hard way.
All right, hold on. I need to change my mirror image on the camera. Hold on a sec.
You also run the risk of dampening off when it's too
Yeah, I'll
cold.
put Art Man up there in case you make a mistake. You don't want to show
No,
your
I think
face.
I'm all right.
You're up.
Thank you,
Oh,
thank
there we
you.
go.
Cold temperatures slowed my last clones down. I didn't realize I didn't plug in the damn heat mat. So
Yeah, can you guys see that?
Hold on, I'm coming now. I'm back on you, right?
Right now,
that's 75.
But now
It's reading
I go to the heating mat
65?
and I go to the. Come on, pup, get out
she's helping.
and look.
Yeah,
Well, point it
those
at the heating mat, though. Move the tray.
Yeah,
and
those
point it at the
laser
heating mat.
thermometers
Yeah.
are shit, mate.
I would do that.
All right, we're at 70 on there.
Turn it up.
Where's
I
your
have
heat
domes
mat
on it.
probe?
Yeah, I could turn it up and see what happens.
Hey,
You have a
do you
heat
have
probe on it?
Yeah,
or
do
is
you
it
have the
just-
mat probe?
This is attached to the mat, the heating mat.
Okay,
Oh, it
so you
doesn't
don't
have a
have a
probe.
probe. It's just
You don't
It's
have a probe.
Well, keep
It's
an
a-
eye
oh,
on
no,
that.
no,
you don't
it's
want,
not a probe.
You don't
There
want
is
to
no
hook
probe.
them.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no
Okay.
probe that goes into the soil now.
You're probeless.
Yes.
Yeah, those lasers are not the best accurate. They got a bit
These
of
stuffers-
variation in them, and they
I
work
know,
best when you point them at something non-reflective, like something black. If you point it at the white stuff, it's not so good.
But
Is it cold to the touch?
I used the same system with the autos, and the temperature was right with the, with the laser temperature too. And you know what though? It's cold. It's colder now. So yeah, I've just turned it up. I'm gonna jam it up to like 79 and see what happens.
Hey, it's going down to 5 degrees tomorrow night. We're in this
Yeah.
state.
I got
I
mine
use one of
set
those.
on 80 anyway. So
I like to use one of those digital meat thermometers because you can put it inside the tent and get the ambient, and then you can also put it inside the soil a little bit. You can see what the soil temperature is.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
what do you guys set yours at?
I set mine at 80.
Okay, 80. How about you, Jay?
For seeds, like where he's at, yeah, about 80.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
about
65
25,
running really
whatever
cool.
that is.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
25, whatever that is.
80 degrees when I tell this. Sorry.
About 76, 77 Fahrenheit. So that's pretty close, yeah. We're all around 80.
I like to stay in the middle, not too hot, not too cold.
So yeah, you guys can see the seed right there, right?
I see it.
Yeah,
Yep.
see, so that you can check on them, like, because this is a batch that I could never get them to pop. I was like, screw it, they're right here. I'll just throw a whole bunch in here and see what happens.
Yeah.
He tried biting any tail.
We'd say that again.
He tried cracking any in your teeth.
Not with this batch, but with other ones I have. I did it with I made a little seed cracker. But yeah, look, you can see I have 3 seeds right there, right?
3 of them.
Yep.
So
Watch, all 3 of those will go, and then you'll have like 3 cells with single seeds that don't go. Isn't that my luck? Or if your luck's anything like mine?
yes, that's everybody's luck, right?
Well,
Hey, but I
in
heard
the tent
that-
in the tent you got going on now, or in the closet with your autos, you have 3 autos in one pot, right? Yeah, right there.
4
You got
in this
some.
one, 3 in
What?
this one, and 3 in that one.
Yeah, they're doing great together.
And yeah, they're all kicking butt. Actually, yeah, this right here is one of them. This right here is one. Yeah, they're all doing good. I'm amazed, man, that they in these 1-gallon containers, they're freaking like totally regular sized plants.
I'm impressed too, man. This is awesome.
Look at that leaf. This leaf is huge.
I don't know if you'd be able to do that with photo period, so.
All right, I'm killing the camera. Yeah, one of my buddies would say all the time, I don't know how we're talking about money or something. He's like, I pay $5 to watch monkeys fuck. I don't care, I'll buy.
Huh. Okay. I get it. That's a good saying.
Are you running them on 12 and 12 at your tail?
No, that's autoflower. It's like I think I lowered it a little to 18 maybe. I should check right now.
Hey, I just wanted to ask. Sorry, go ahead, Tal.
I'm sorry, between 11:30 and 16. So yeah, it's off for like about 5 hours.
So you get that.
19 on, 5 off.
Yeah, yep. And that's pretty much where it's been since I went to that HPS.
So I've run that auto flowers on the same cycle as my photos.
Go ahead, C person. What were you going to say? I interrupted you.
Well, I was just gonna make a comment that I heard. I mean, for seeds that you're having trouble popping, the method with the paper towel is really good, I would say. But I always heard that it was better if the seed would come up through the media and pull the helmet off itself, like a C-section versus going through the birth canal. And like one is supposedly better. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
It makes sense because it's gonna fight through the media and like kind of fall off on the way out through.
I noticed that with these root riots because that's the first time I ran these, and it seemed like the helmet heads kicked off a lot better having to push up through that because I kind of pushed them down. I pushed them to where I could just barely see the head of the seed in there, and I think that extra friction helped kind of pull them off on the way out.
Yeah, I think direct sow or whatever does help with that. I don't know. It seems like I like to crack them, but I do like to try to bury the head.
I
The
think
whole
it's just
helmet
a
head.
humidity
And some of
thing
them push
myself.
it through, some of them don't.
I think it's a humidity thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
the
agree.
root cubes, they hold a lot of moisture around them, so there's a more vapor in the air around the seed stem, and everything allows the thing to come off easier. I
Yep.
think it's all it is. It's just humidity.
That's why I shoot for 100% in the dome. As soon as they open up and I see some green leaves and the testa and everything's falling away and they're opened up, I like to back it off so we don't get the damp off we was talking about. But that's usually where the change comes in for us. Then I'll back it off to like 65, 70, try to keep nice and warm. That's where we're at now. We're in those little shot glasses.
So far so good. And out of 5, we only had to really fight the 2 helmets off.
Yeah. You got
I made video, so you can check that out on the Instagram. I think we put it on the Instagram, didn't we?
When you pop your seed, you got two mechanisms working in your favor. One's gravitropism, pulling down on your plant's embryonic root, and you got phototropism, which is pulling your leaf matter upwards, stretching it out. And so that's why sometimes people will tell us when they put their seeds in the paper towel, they like to lean them up at like a 45 degree, and it gets them going straight instead of having them curl up. This is something I haven't tried yet. And my wife and I had the problems with the root riots or whatever them damn things where they would curl up and just like not push out of the damn thing, and that was an issue.
When I used the root riots, I used to have that problem with seeds just getting stuck inside, not wanting to emerge. So they seemed a bit too tight. The solution to that was just cut them in half and put the seed in the center of the cube and just push it back together and stick it in the cell, and it holds it together. Then it's got all the room it needs to come up out of there.
Yeah, we ended up having to do that, Ice and I. We had to cut it open and orient it and get it like where we needed it to be, and then put it back together. It was real loose, and it did end up making it. But I thought, I don't want to be ever doing that again. I'd rather just go right into the cocoa. Don't have those problems.
They're terrible, in my opinion. They look they're just, they're just another waste.
I hate when Dr. Smart has to come out and do another surgery, man. I had to do them this time too. And it's never really the seed. It's always that little clear membrane underneath that has them glued together. And if that gets dried up, it takes a minute to slime it back up until they kind of go, yep.
Spray them off.
I always put a drop of warm water right on there. And usually by that time, the seed's nice and long and stretched out. And so that drop of water makes it 10 times heavier than it can handle, and it starts to slowly drop to the side. And it's like, son of a bitch, here we go. Why couldn't you just come off like Mother Nature intended?
Yeah, like if it was out in nature, they'd probably have a dewdrop on it doing that.
Yeah.
The condensation in the, that would.
Yep. Early morning humidity.
It's a moisture thing. As to why they get stuck on, because they're not got enough moisture. Yeah,
I'll buy that for $1. I agree. That's another one they used to say. I'll buy that for $1. Means I agree.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
In for a penny, in for a pound. Yep.
Why do today what you can put off for tomorrow? Wait.
If my uncle had kids, he'd be my aunt. That's what people used to say. I'd say if this, if that. That's what my brother used to tell me and shit. Yeah. He was supposed to be here tonight. So he got hung up. He was going to come and check out his first live show in 4 years and sit on the side here, but at the last minute he got hung up. So maybe next week he'll be around the neighborhood. Sorry, Seed Man. Let it rip.
Oh, you made me think of one. If you build a man a fire, you'll keep him warm for a night. If you set a man on fire, you'll keep him warm for the rest of his life.
There you go.
Gold.
G's up, haze down.
I just another one is it's cheaper to keep her.
Oh yeah. It's funny how the sayings, they kind of, some of them travel pretty far and wide, don't they?
Yep. Like being treated like a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
I know that Ryan Korkowski, he used that saying, and I'm like, I used to hear that my house growing up.
Or they beat it like a rented mule. Yeah.
You can't choose your family.
That's it. You can't choose your family. Only your friends, man. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Family can be tough sometimes, man.
What do we got going on over here? We got a half hour left. I got a joint of this gelato rolled up. I tell you what, this stuff smells and tastes so good. I don't know if gelato is considered like white label or some shit, but I didn't really appreciate the bud structure, but I really like the smoke. You know.
Which gelato is it? Because I got gelato 41 in seed right now, and I got a gelato biscotti too.
It was Gelato 41, and that was sent to us by Grow Room 420.
Yeah.
So
Forget about it.
I have the information written down.
Tal grew it out. I don't think he was that impressed with it. I weren't impressed with it. My son liked it. I think it might be one that the kids like a bit, but I don't really like the Gelato 41. That's from Seed Stockers. If you got it from Grow Room 420.
Yeah,
that's where we got it.
Because I have that information written down with the seeds that they
That's it. I remember Seed Stalker. Yeah. You nailed it. I
got my.
I don't mind it.
I got my Gelato 41 from Seed Person, but I think it's from Atlas Seed. That's what it was. And then the Gelato Biscotti's from Humboldt. It was a freebie they gave me from all those last seeds I just bought from them.
That Gelato 41 from Atlas was really great. It was a really easy plant. Just took whatever I forgot it was in there occasionally because it was just so chill, and then it smoked great and tasted great, and it was very dense.
So nice, looking forward to it. Appreciate that seed.
They're different. They're going to be different than what we're smoking than what Jim's got.
Well, it's just like a Trop Cherry I've got. That's different than what XYZ just grew. And Doc's growing it too. They got different genetics than what I got. I forgot who they got theirs from, but I got mine from a no-name seed bank, but it's supposed to be from Relentless Genetics, which is the original creator of it, but I don't know. But you can definitely tell there's a big difference in my plant versus the one that XYZ had or Doc's. I haven't seen Doc's in a while, but his looked a lot different.
I think Dean 420 is one.
Yeah, Berkshire, good to see you, buddy.
What up?
Just enjoying the cold, not
dabbing something, I'm sure.
I haven't, just about to. I haven't yet. Well, I haven't in the last couple hours. Let's put it this way.
Hound dog's wound up, tighter than a snare drum.
Hey, I'm glad you're here now because that reminded me that we were talking about ice snug or Tal growing those plants, and I'm like, yeah, Burke's growing a plant in the hash tree right now with no substrate.
Yeah, the impossible plant. I started training it. I started here. We'll show you how it's doing today. I started doing a little more training here. I put some wire in there and started bending things around so that I could eventually sort of turn it into a it's kind of hard to see from the side, but eventually I want to have it sort of circling around, and I have no idea if it'll last that long. Looks like it needs a little more nutrients in there.
That's amazing. I love it.
I think of it as the impossible plant or plants really, because I didn't expect this to happen, and it just keeps living and growing.
Under some good lighting. Look at that lamp lighting.
I know it's under a broken lamp here that's all wobbly.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think it's a 800 lumen LED, white phosphor bulb.
You can see it leaning towards it. It's trying to get to it.
Oh yeah, well that's also because I keep turning every time it gets closer. I lean it, I turn it away a little bit and then bend them over. So I'm slowly rotating it. So eventually it will circle around. It was twice as tall before I cut it way back to get some more flexible things here.
That's cool. It's gonna be spiral shaped when it's done.
Or something. I don't know. I just want to make it. I just want to see what it'll do. I mean, there isn't really a done to this. At some point, the roots have to die. I mean, why they haven't died yet? Because they're in a freaking glass bowl that light can get through. There's no reason why this plant is alive. It's impossible. It can't be.
It's not only alive, but thriving.
I know.
That's impressive.
Thriving enough that I was able to top it and train it and.
Perhaps we've all been
You
lied
guys can-
to our entire lives about the roots not being able to grow in light.
Well, you know, I'm wondering if it's the green color. That's all I can think of, because I've had roots exposed to light before, and yeah, they get root rot and turn yellow and then brown really, really quickly because they just start dying from the light. But I'm
Is that
wondering,
the
this
light
is
or the air?
right, or is it just the
I think it's the
combination
I think it's
effect
the
of?
air.
Oh,
I
it
know
could
somebody
be.
who had a sea of green, and all they had was pots, and they just in rocks, and they just sat it
Yeah,
in a tub of 2 inches of nutrients, and the roots came out of and they grew it just like that.
yeah, it
It
could
was
be. I mean, the
amazing.
root.
It's got no choice. It's going to grow
Yeah,
where it is.
the roots have definitely grown up above the water level, and no matter where I keep the water level, there's always roots growing up around the edges of it. So,
Well, it
but
don't
it's the
like it.
light
Let's
that I
put it
don't
that way.
understand. It's just the light
Well, it
should be
don't,
killing those roots.
I don't think they will.
Is that bowl
Nope.
green?
It is green. That's what I'm wondering. If
So I was
it's
just listening to a book about, like, it doesn't matter, but they were talking about the reason why plants are green is because they're absorbing red and blue light, right?
right.
So that bowl is absorbing the red and blue light. So algae, if it was going to grow in there, wouldn't be able to photosynthesize because it's only allowing the green light through, right? Or is it vice versa? I don't know. I'm really high, but there's something there.
Yeah, it's only reflecting the green light. Well, actually, it's both with glass because it's both transmittance and reflectance. But yeah, that's a really good point. It is. It's absorbing all the red and blue photons. So who
Infrared
knows?
or the far
Maybe.
red is what it has a green light as in it. Yeah, when you shine a infrared light at plants, you can see how much it absorbs. Yeah, and it is green, and it reflects it back towards us as well. And that's why one of the benefits of being out in nature is because of all the infrared light that's being bounced by the plants.
Yep.
The green is healthy.
That's why everything in here is green. It actually started just because of the broken lamp that was here. And I can slide it over so you can see my broken lamp. Oh, my broken lamp that is green. And so I just made everything else to match the lamp, even though I didn't like the lamp.
It's like you see people that grow in rock wall cubes and big rock wall cubes. They get algae and green, and they don't have no problems with the the root and the light and everything else. I don't think it is really that that's going to be affecting it. But
could also be the air, because I mean it's usually they've got pretty high CO2 enrichment in here. It rarely gets below 800 parts per million. It's 1170 right now, and by the end of the show it'll probably be about 2500 unless I open the door.
That's why it's coming up once the oxygen, probably. Yeah. Looking for some dissolved oxygen that maybe it's not there.
Indeed. Yeah, it's going to snow in Oklahoma. It's going to freeze in Florida, I've heard, and stuff. That's crazy.
I have one
Not
last
looking
thought
forward
on
to
that
it.
bowl. They used to use uranium to color glass, right? So maybe
Green
that's
stuff, yeah.
uranium in there doing something.
Mark's got a depleted uranium flower pot.
I got my DU candy bowl here.
1902, yeah.
It's not Fiesta-ware. That Fiesta-ware stuff did have uranium in it, but
You could test it with a Geiger counter.
unfortunately, I had to recycle my Geiger counter because I couldn't get the B-size batteries for it anymore. I'm not joking. I had an old Geiger counter that was from Civil Defense back in the late 40s, and it ran off a B cell, which.
Oh wow! Like an old ass radio or something, man. Them big ones.
Yeah.
So this was like novelty. Did you have to test for some uranium?
No, I bought it. I bought it at a flea market.
Cool. That's really
because
cool.
doesn't everyone want to have a Geiger counter?
Hey, I saw some.
They're handy. That like, I hope you never have to use them. But I guess like it's nice to have in your first aid kit as a just in case, right?
You know what? If there's enough radiation out there to hurt me, I got much bigger problems.
True that. I saw oscilloscopes recently used for sale, 3 of them, and I was thinking, I'm not even sure what those are for. And it looked like a little radar screen or something.
Oscilloscopes are for showing changes in electrical circuits over time. And so what they do is so they can show waveforms, they can show ons and offs, all sorts of different things. And because most circuits are cyclical, so they're like repetitive, you can dial in the frequency on the oscilloscope and get a stable waveform that's showing you exactly what the circuit's doing. So they're really, really cool. They used to be incredibly expensive, and now with digital stuff, you can buy a digital one for, well, they're still expensive, but they're not tens of thousands of dollars anymore.
Right. These look old.
I looked at all that stuff. I like to tinker with stuff, and I find it's a little bit of another learning curve. All these square waves and using your synth waves and everything else. It's all a bit past me.
It takes a while to understand a lot of this stuff for me too, man. I have to go over it.
That's like the way it's about getting the clean efficiency without interference and things like that. That's what I always.
It makes you wonder though, where do people come up with this equipment at? Like, why would someone have 3 of those? I mean, would maybe what electrician need one of those or something?
Oh no, my guess is some laboratory upgraded to new digital ones and tossed these in the trash, and the cleaning guy picked them up and said, "I'm putting these on eBay. I bet they're worth a lot of money."
That's it. I'm putting them on eBay. No, it said like I haven't even plugged them in or anything, but I think they wanted like $200 for 3 of them.
Yeah, someone pulled them out of the trash because someone didn't want them anymore. Probably they're probably perfectly good and probably will work just fine.
I thought about XYZ, honestly. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, I wonder if XYZ.
I'm sure he has one. I'm sure XYZ has one.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Oh. Yeah, the gelato's nice, man. We just finished that joint. Burns well in the joint. It's wild how some people grow it, don't care for it. Other people, and it makes me wish that wouldn't have been cool, us and I, if you could have tried ours, we could have tried yours and see if they were similar at all, because you know how that goes. You can grow 2 of the same seeds from a 5-pack and get 2 different kinds of smoke and build and everything.
Well, to be honest with you, I think I do have my own terroir, because everything that sort of I do have even though there is variation, there is also a similarity, because my routine, pretty much the soil and everything doesn't really change. So, it's not like I'm trying different nutrients or, it's just in the same soil for 4 years, doing this thing, really.
Oh yeah, if you're in a living soil, you've got your own terroir for sure. Absolutely.
Hey, Bert, you using Jack 321? Is that correct?
Yes and no. I'm using what Jax calls 321, which is close to 3-2-1, but it's slightly different ratios throughout the grow. But yes, I'm using the Jax 2-part with Epsom salts, and then using their recommended ratios, and I'm using Dr. Coco's recommended EC targets.
So when you buy yours, do you buy the tap water version or the RO water version?
I think I don't remember which I bought. I think when I bought it, they didn't have the two different versions yet. I bought
Okay.
whatever the 25-pound bags. I'll never have to buy nutrients again because I just home
Right.
grow.
Do you know the specific NPK on your sack?
Hold on, I can look at it right here.
Oh, that'd be
that
great.
sounded wrong.
Whoa.
We talking
Hey.
salts here?
Soon
Mom,
as
you
I
gotta
said-
remember Crispy's back now. You can't be talking like this. We can't be running the show like this.
All right.
As soon as I said it, the American one left. Oh, it's
damn.
I'm the 51226 is my part A.
26. Does it say part A on that bag?
Yep, part A.
Does it also say the word feed?
Yes, that's their
Okay.
feed is the name of their. I think that's on all their stuff or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is basically their line of cannabis nutrients they call feed, or maybe it's other nutrients too. But
And just
I got a
so-
question.
Mine's
so-
also the 51226.
That's what yours is?
Yep.
I'm curious, Mark, do you add the nitrate 1500, the calcium nitrate?
yeah, oh yeah, that's the part B. Yeah, I add the part B, the calcium nitrate, and that's my major source of calcium, and magnesium sulfate, the Epsom salts is my third part.
So I got a
And
question about those,
Yep.
Bert. On those, so I'm running Athena. So they have two different lines. They have the blended line, which is the liquid format, and then they have the Pro line, which is the salt version, kind of like what you're using.
Mhm.
So they recommended on the salts to mix the whole bag at once, because if you mix it in small batches, the bag's not homogeneous, so you're not getting equal parts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's theoretically true. And the guy from the folks from Athena were the first ones to point that out, that when you have a dry fertilizer mix, every gram of fertilizer mix that you take out of the bag is going to be a slightly different combination of powders in there.
Yeah, because if you
so
think
yes,
about it,
is
like if you buy like a jar or a bottle of like barbecue seasoning
Yep.
from the grocery store, it's got
Mhm.
different particles in it. It's got salt,
Yep.
it's got pepper, it's got sugar. Well, I think it's like the salt settles towards the bottom. It's the same
Right.
principle with the nutrients.
So what I did is I have my bags are in sealed 5-gallon buckets to keep the moisture out, because especially the calcium nitrate is pretty hygroscopic. But I take out a yogurt container, like 1 quart scoops at a time, that's what I work out of, because it takes me a couple of grows to go through one of those. So when I take one of those scoops, the first thing I do is I thoroughly mix everything in the bag, everything remaining in the bag, to get it as reasonably distributed as I can, and then I scoop it. I scoop out of that, and then when I'm mixing my newts, before I measure out of the smaller container, I do the same thing. I have a lid on that. I shake that container all up and then roll it a bunch of times, stir it up to make sure that I'm getting a reasonable sampling. Is it exact? No, it's certainly not. And if you were growing commercially, yeah, you'd want to do the whole bag at once to make sure you got exactly the right thing. For home growing,
Yeah,
I haven't had a problem.
that's where we were at the commercial grow. We had to mix the whole bag at once. You make a stock tank, and then you dip your liquid out of that to make your batches. So the Athena, they do sell a Pro line in that 1 gallon format. So what they do is they give you an empty gallon jug and then the bag of salts, and then you mix it into the gallon jug, and then you have a gallon. Yeah, so you have a gallon of the batch solution. I don't know how long
That's
that
really
lasts.
smart.
Yeah,
That's smart.
Growing with salts and everything. Do you ever use anything like this? The monopotassium phosphate.
I have not used monopotassium phosphate. I know it's a common ingredient for getting the phosphorus. And I'm sorry, and potassium.
Back
haven't used it, though.
Back 20 years. I'll probably had this probably about 15 or 20 years. I don't know. There was a booster called Mother of All Booster, or Mother of MOABs. And
by Matt Farmer.
I can't remember, but yeah, this is pretty much the bait. You just add a little bit of potash to this, and you've got your nice bud booster. I think that used to bring the dank, and I might even just try it one day.
Yeah, that stuff's loaded, man. That's mother of all bloom boosters, I think, is what it stands for, and it's like 0.3252.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's stout.
You just
MOB.
Well, you know,
one application
back in the house once again.
Bert,
So-
you said something. You had said that you had bought the weight in the nutrients, and you won't have to buy it now. You'll be growing for a long time, which means it doesn't go bad. And we just recently learned that the nutrient lineup that we have and we're using, they can go bad, and we think we're noticing that in our grow right now, and we're having some problems. And if
It's a theory.
it's a theory, and if we switch these nutrients, I'm hoping that that's just another win in my book, having them have a shelf life that's going to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I have had mixed results with this. Before I started really stirring up the dry stuff, I was just some grows were great, some grows were horrible, and then the Athena guy was on, I forget, he was on a show at some point and said, well, every gram that comes out of that bag is a different combination of things. And I realized, oh shoot, that applies to this too. So I started really stirring it up, and I've had better success still. I'm not convinced that it's the best. It's one of the cheapest. It's pretty good, but you're going to have to supplement it. You're going to need a silica source. So I used up the last of my gallon of Armor SI from General Hydroponics, and now I'm using Agsil 16H again because it's dry, stable, and reasonably inexpensive.
Well, it's cheaper too because they're shipping dry weight versus liquid. They're not shipping you water. It's just nutrients.
It's cheaper if you're in commercial growing, because Agsil, the folks who make it, only sell it in 50-pound bags. If you're a home grower and you need like a 1-pound bag, you're at the mercy of all of the folks on all the Amazon sellers who are buying 50-pound bags, repackaging it, putting their label on it, and marking it way up. So in small quantities, the Agsil is not that cheap. But yeah, if you're using it for a big grow and and 50 gallons is not absurd to buy, 50 pounds is not absurd to buy, yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, I think on the Athena, it's a 3-part. They have a grow, a core, and a bloom. And I think the core is universal between veg and flower.
Yeah,
and it's just a 3-part. And they sell other parts like fade. I think you use that because you end up cutting out the core, I think, towards the end on the Athena feed chart on the Pro line.
Yeah, the Jax has 3 1-part special, sort of interim transition phase mixes. There's the first one is clone, which is essentially just a seedling mix. It's a 1-part, but unfortunately it's very, very hygroscopic. And if you don't get all the air out of the bag and seal up the Ziploc really well every time, you will end up with a bag of slush, because that's what I have right now, is a bag of slush. It still works fine. It's just I'm kind of guessing on the mass because I don't know how much additional liquid it's taken up. So they've got the clone. They've got another one for the transition period that you use for a week, and then they've got basically a finish one to use at the very end for ripen. And those you can get in small bags, and a bag of that will last you for a long time for a home grower.
Good to know. And
then the biggest problem with a lot of these is, what are you going to do for humic acids? Because the Jax is just salts. There's no humic acids in there.
Diamond nectar. Can you toss in the diamond nectar?
You could absolutely toss in diamond nectar. My problem is I really, really like having a res that has essentially no carbon in it. I only ever have to clean my resin between grows. I never have to clean it during the grow. It stays absolutely perfectly clean. So what I've been doing actually is I've been using a granular humic acid, so an organic granular formulation,
Okay.
and I've been top dressing my cocoa with that, and just always sprinkling a little bit on there, so that every single fertigation, some amount of humic acids is leaching out into my pot and giving me. How much is it? I don't know. But at the same point, nobody knows how much we actually need of humic acids anyway. So
it's quite potent, that humic acid, because I've actually got over here. We have a company called Nutrimate, and it is like this really fine, dark or greyish, sort of like greeny, sort of like powder.
It's like printer toner.
Yeah. Every time, there's a theory as well that if you sprinkle that across the insects don't actually like to walk across it, and so it's a bit of a bug repellent as well. But I find whenever, because it's a highly chelator, so you got to be careful, because that will instantly make a lot of nutrients available. So I found that makes a lot of nutrients available, and you can get a little bit of burning if you apply it.
Well, it depends on which formulation you get. The one I got is a granular formation, which is much less highly chelated, so it's designed to be slow release, which is normally exactly the opposite of what you want in cocoa. But it's it seems to be working. So
hey, I got a question about humic acid while we're on the topic of it. I was reading an article about it, and it says it reduces the natural spatial variability of the THC. So what it does is it reduces the THC in your top buds and redistributes it more uniformly to the bottom buds. So you get more like an even THC percentage. It used to be like the top buds were like your best, the strongest ones. But the study was saying that humic acid reduces that, kind of redistributes it more evenly throughout all the buds.
That's what Dr. Faust was saying, wasn't it? He said it actually reduces the THC content. He says lay off it 2 weeks before harvest because of it reduces the THC. But maybe Faust is wrong, and it's not. It doesn't reduce it; it just redistributes it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It says 37 to 39% reduction or redistribution in the top nodes or top buds.
That's really weird. Interesting.
Stops your plants from senescing as well. I find so quick.
I know now. Who makes that, Berkshire? Is that Raw, or is that a company called Full Power that you're using? Do you happen to know?
Which one? The Agsil?
The humic acid.
Oh, the humic acid? No, I'm using I think it's Back to Earth or Down to Earth, whatever. It's the organic line in the US that comes in the brown cardboard boxes. Pretty much every hydro store has it. Let me grab one.
No, that's all right. I feel bad. I got him running for all this shit. I'm just curious to see.
It's not running. It's in the same room. I just have to reach for it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm using.
Can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it.
Back off a little.
There we go.
Give me a
minute.
light.
There we go. Down to earth.
Down to earth.
Okay. So it's a great. It's a great line. You can get them at most hydro stores around here. It's OMRI certified. So if you're doing organic growing, they come in 5-pound boxes, and they have pretty much every organic nutrient you might want. In general, you're not going to need them in cocoa, but they're great for things like I've got neem seed meal also. So when when I need to, if I get any little critters, I've got the neem seed meal to sprinkle in that. I mostly use that outside for my outdoor grows.
Well, this the Brian 420 is making a good push for Mega Crop 2-part, and I used to use Mega Crop and I liked it a lot, and we stopped. But I'm thinking about going back to that versus Jax. So I'm kind of looking into
the ideas around,
both
getting the information.
And here's his humic acids, fulvic and humic.
Oh, and that's seaweed extract too. So that you got your your growth regulator in there too. So
yeah,
wondering about that.
Tryptophan.
This is fully water soluble.
Yeah.
It's got trichoderma and bacillus subtilis in it as well. So it's got all the goodies. That's an all-in-one. That's a powder, like you say. Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty much the same as Brandon Rust's. What he uses is humic acid, but I don't know if he. I don't know. I think he does the bacillus subtilis and that separately in a separate product. This is sort of like an all-in-one. Pretty much the same stuff.
Yep. Right on. Hey, we're down to the last couple minutes. I didn't realize the time.
Time is flying by.
Uncle Rick's having Dog Doctor on, and I know we've spent many, many evenings with our friend Dog Doctor over at Jack Greenstock's show, The Chief Home Grow. And so, with that being said, we'll do our goodbyes and send everybody over to check out Dog Doctor on Uncle Rick's Let's Be Buds, and we'll start with Berkshire Bud.
Have a great time, everyone. Grow some good plants. Hopefully, my one seedling that popped, continues to survive. Grower love.
Right on, grower love, man.
Awesome.
Up next is Oxney.
Cheers, everyone. I'm having a laugh, mate. Sorry, I'm just there.
Pissing pop.
I'll see everyone.
Thanks, buddy. Seed person.
Yeah, cheers, everybody. Good to see everyone, and cheers to the chat. And yeah, everybody go harass Uncle Rick. I'm Seed Person 1, Grower Love.
Grower love. That's awesome.
Up next is Jace.
Hey, cheers, chat. Good hanging out with you guys. Cheers, panel. Thanks, Smart Crispy, for hosting again. And we'll see you guys over at Let's Be Buds and on Sundays. Grower love.
Grower love. We'll see everybody back here
on Sundays. Yeah.
Last but not least, Artman.
Artman, 2 N's, 420 _ at Instagram. Check me out there. Cocoa for Canvas, Percy's Grow Room. And let's go harass Rick. So thanks for the show, guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Yes, thank you everybody for hanging out. You make our Wednesday so much fun, and we'll catch you on Sunday.
Grower love. Stay warm.
Love.
Yes.